Hey guys, it's Jamie T. Welcome back to another video. So happy that you're here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join my community. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. And then you need to go ahead and smash that notifications bell so you'll always know when I drop something on you, when I drop a new video. I think that what I'm doing is inspiring, uplifting, encouraging, thought-provoking. And if you feel the same way, I urge you to subscribe. And of course, ring that notification bell so you'll always know when I drop something new. Okay? All right. Let's dive into our subject for this one. And I've decided to entitle this one, Naysaying the Naysayers. And this is for whether you work with kids or whether your kid says, I want to be an underwater basket weaver, or whatever. This is although going to be geared to those who work with teens and young adults, whether you're a youth leader, Sunday school teacher, pastor, counselor, whatever. And what I'm going to tell you is something that you probably already know, but maybe you just need a little reminder. When you're working with teenagers, especially teens, and maybe even preteens, you will face opposition. It's just the flat out truth. Because we've heard so many stories. And if you don't believe me, turn on your evening news tonight and wait about 30 minutes. You'll hear, or wait a while, you're going to hear something about some teacher doing things with a student or a coach doing something with a student that they really should not be doing. Or you may also hear the kid says, so-and-so did something when they really didn't. Happens every single day, happens all the time, happens in every city in America and in every place on the globe. We hear those kinds of stories. And while they are sad, they're also extremely rare. But most people don't know that. Because what's going to happen is especially if you're a young guy like me, you're in your 30s, you're going to hear that. You're going to hear, hey, I want to be a youth leader. You shouldn't do that. Why not? Because these are kids and you're an adult and that kind of thing. But the truth is, there are professionals who work with kids all the time. I mean, come on, think about it. Teachers, coaches, principals, youth leaders, PE coaches, Sunday school teachers, bus drivers, you name it. It's a long list. And they go their entire career without a hitch. The idea is you had to go into this youth leader thingy. You had to go into this thing just like you do everything else. There is always going to be risks involved. But heck, there's a risk involved with anything, really. I mean, if I'm sitting in this chair, I have to trust, and you can't see it because it's just the audio. There is a chair in here. If I'm sitting in this chair, I got to trust that this chair is going to hold my weight. There's a risk there because if it's not going to hold my weight, it's going to collapse. Same thing with my bed. If I'm laying in bed, and I'm not going to tell you guys how much I weigh on YouTube, but if I'm 350 pounds or 400 pounds, 500 pounds, for example, like that, then there is a good chance that the bed's going to collapse under my weight and I'm not going to have a bed anymore. Then we got to get another bed. But that's my point. Walking out your door in the morning. If you walk out the door in the morning, I actually know a friend this actually happened to him. She was walking out the door to go to the post office. She's blind, by the way. And this is something that she had done countless times before. Well, one day she got overconfident and was hit by a car and nearly killed. There's risks involved. There's a risk when you get into an Uber or a Lyft. And the risk with that is that you're getting into a stranger's car, which I often have to laugh when people say a stranger's car, because they weren't saying that when we weren't saying that when we were getting on school buses and vans and youth leaders' vehicles and things like that. We weren't saying that before. Now we say it with Ubers, which is, to me, is pretty funny and a very laughable thing to say. But I oftentimes say kids don't take candy from strangers, they just get in the car with them. Yeah, stranger danger kids. Anyway, um, we say this stuff all the time. Because there have been many gruesome stories about kids and teachers doing things that are, as a professional, I like to say, inappropriate. There, and you know what else? There always will be. There will always be some sort of story about some sort of kid or teacher or both doing things that they shouldn't, in places where they shouldn't, with people that they shouldn't. That's just the flat out truth. Okay? However, as I mentioned, there are risks involved. But if you take the right precautions and you know what the risks are and you know what is allowed and what is not allowed, you won't have any surprises. It's pretty straightforward, really. I think the vast majority of youth leaders, in fact, pretty much all of them, have the best intentions. And I would not want to work with an organization that didn't. I'm going to be asking all kinds of questions. Luckily, I'm familiar with this organization that I'm working with, so I have an idea as to how they operate and what they're going to do. There's not just, they're not just going to throw me to the wolves and say, here's 4 teenagers, go at it. They've taken all kinds of precautions, all kinds of steps to make sure the safety of the leaders and the kids, and that is something that I'm proud of. That is something that I'm proud of. You know what? That tells me that the organization cares about their young charges, the people entrusted to them. And that's good. That's wonderful. We need more organizations like that. We truly, truly do. Now, the next thing you're going to hear from the naysayers is you can't do it because you don't have blank. Insert the blank here. We don't come into this thing as a parent. I've spent, and I've said this in my very first video that I ever made on this channel, I spent the better part of 30 years, over 32 years, researching, reflecting, watching, listening, learning, asking questions upon questions upon questions, and also asking questions within. Like, if I had been in that situation, what would I have done? I've done that. I've done that because if all we focus on is what we know and we don't think of a way to change it, we're asking for more trouble. Now, what does that mean? Well, when a person tells me, Jamie, you can't be a motivational speaker because you haven't been through anything, what they're really saying is, you haven't been through what I've been through. And the truth is, everybody's been through is totally different from the next person's. Why is that a thing? Because we've all been through stuff. Now, for most of us, it hasn't been something that's truly earth-shattering. I mean, I've never been homeless, for example. I've never been an alcoholic. I've never been on drugs. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I've never, done any sort of drug in my life. And it's not because mom and dad said don't do it. It's because I had people that cared about me enough to say don't do it. And then I saw what smoking and drinking has done to members of my family, so I didn't want to go down that road. That's why at 32 years of age, I've never had a drink. Except for maybe some apple juice, but it wasn't spiked. It was regular store-bought Walmart apple juice. But the point I'm making here in saying this is many people think that you need to have some sort of experience in working with kids to be a youth leader, a youth pastor, things like that. Let me counter that by saying, if you have an inner child within you and you love kids and you want to see teens and kids and young adults, you want to see them thrive That's all the proof you need. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. If you have a heart for kids and you know what you're doing and you're not afraid to ask the tough questions and you love working with kids, you know what's okay, you know what's not okay, you know the rules and you follow them, then you can go into this with confidence. With confidence, knowing that I know what the rules are, I know what I can do, I know what I can't do, I know what I can say, I know what I can't say, I know what I should do, what I shouldn't do. You can go into this with the mindset knowing that you're fine. Again, like I said, the first go around, like I said near the top of the video, are there risks? Yes. As with everything in life, there's always going to be some sort of risk involved. But if you know the risks and you know how to prevent it from happening, prevention's the key, y'all. If you know the risk and you prevent it from happening, then you're going to be okay. You know why? Because you know the risk and you know how to prevent it. The next thing I want to talk about as we go throughout this is if you're not going to do something about the problem, stop talking. I hear this all the time. How disrespectful, lazy, ungrateful, irresponsible, messy, disrespectful. I mean, I have a whole list of adjectives I can use when it comes to our youth. But here's the problem. We're not doing anything about it. We're complaining, sure, but we're not fixing. You know why? Because we don't want to get involved. We don't want to get involved because we don't want to deal with it. And if that's not you, then go ahead, turn the video off, and get back to watching Star Trek or whatever it is on television. Because I want to talk to people who are ready to go into this thing with both feet. Here's the next thing I'm going to tell you about the teens you're going to be working with. And I know this because I was a teen once myself. I was 18, 19 myself. I remember the teens aren't going to listen to you first go around. You know why? Because they have to learn how to trust you. They have to learn to trust that this person is going to do what he says he's going to do. They have to trust that this person is who they say they are. They have to trust that this person is genuine. And when they graduate high school, they may not thank you right away. Just remember what you're doing this for. Not to be liked or admired by the people around you, but because you are one of those people with a willing heart who are willing to stand on faith, step out on faith, and say, I want to make a difference. There'll be kids that'll listen to you. There'll be teens that'll listen to you. But at the same time, also know that they're not going to go into this right away. Because you know why? We were all that teenager once. And I'm not going to say we thought we knew everything, because no one can know everything. But come on, even adults think that way. They think, oh, well, I'm 60 years old, I know everything. We've all been that person that has thought that. But the truth is, when you're in this, think about what that teen may be going through. Teens are sometimes just a big mess of hormones and things anyway. And get into their world. How do you do that? Well, put your adult clothes on the shelf, and if they're playing on their iPhone, you say, hey, what are you playing with? And they'll say, oh, I'm playing with this new game. Okay, great. Show me how it works. Maybe I might want to play with it when I get home. There, bam, you're in. They're gonna be like, wait, you actually want to play my video game with me? I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't know how to work it, but hey, I can learn. I'm a smart guy. And I had a young life leader who would do this. He would come to the school and eat lunch with them. Oh, you got some pizza there? Oh, that's cool. Want to share some? Bam, you're in. You're in. That's all it takes, y'all. So I hope what I've shared today has inspired those of you who maybe you want to be a youth communicator, or maybe you are one and you just want to know, and you just want to know what you're going to be up against. We got to learn how to naysay the naysayers, because let me tell you something about the naysayers. They come from every turn. They come from our own families. They come from just people in general who, well, you didn't raise a child, so you didn't know how to help a child. You're gonna get 40 different kinds of pushback. But don't let that fear get into your mind. Don't let them crowd your mind with reasons why you shouldn't. Ask yourself, if I don't do it, who's going to? Every one of you, every one of us, whether we're a teen or a young adult or even a 10-year-old, have something to offer the world. God gave us that when he created us. So go ahead. Take that leap of faith. Take that step. If God has called you to be a youth leader or a youth speaker or a teacher or a coach, give it a shot. Try it. And the rewards you'll reap will be immeasurable. I hope what I've shared today has been helpful, has been inspiring, has been encouraging. Continue to follow my channel for more videos and updates and stuff like that. And if you have any comments about what I shared today, hit me in the comments below, and I will see you soon.